Hi everyone, and welcome to the third part of Teacher Ivan's IELTS General Information videos. In this video, we're going to go over some tips and helpful information that can benefit you a great deal on your test day. The first batch of helpful information will be about the listening test. As soon as you enter your test room, check if your headphones are working. Each recording in the listening test is heard only once. You'll be given some time to read through the questions before you start the test. If you choose the paper-based version of IELTS, as you listen, write your answers on the question paper. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. It's essential that you transfer your answers to the answer sheet, as nothing you write on the question paper will be marked. You must write your answers in pencil. Here's an example of a completed listening answer sheet. Regarding the completion question types, pay attention to the word limit. For example, if you're asked to complete the sentence using no more than 2 words, and the correct answer is leather coat, the answer coat made of leather would be incorrect. Annoying? Yes. Unfortunately, I don't make the rules, I'm just here to inform you about them. Transfer only the missing words to the answer sheet. For example, if you have to complete the note and the correct answer is morning, the answer in the morning would be incorrect. You will hear the words you need to use in the recording. You will not need to change the form of the words you hear. Pay attention to spelling and grammar. You will lose marks for mistakes. You may write your answers in lowercase or in capitals. Now let's take a look at the reading test. If you're taking a paper-based test, you may write your answers directly on the answer sheet, or you may write them on the question paper and then transfer them to the answer sheet before the end of the test. You will not be given extra time to transfer answers at the end of the test. Nothing you write on the question paper will be marked. Like the listening test, the reading test must be completed using a pencil. Here's an example of a completed reading answer sheet. Regarding the completion type questions, the same rules apply as in listening. The words you use must be taken from the reading text. You will not need to change the form of the words in the text. Now let's talk about time management. As you're given 3 passages in both academic and general training tests, the first thing that you should do is skim through the passage. In my IELTS course, we'll talk about skimming techniques in detail, but for now you should know that we generally skim passages in order to understand the gist of the text. When you're skimming, focus on the heading and subheadings of the article, because that's where you'll find the general idea of what's happening in the text. The next step would be to focus on the introduction and the conclusion, because that's where you'll see the main idea of the text and very often the writer's opinion. The most common mistake that untrained people make is not reading the questions first, so please make sure to first read the questions because they will tell you what you'll be looking for in the text. It's imperative that you answer all the questions. The only time that your answers will be 100% wrong is if you don't answer the question at all. Any other answer has a higher probability of being correct, especially if you're answering one of those true, false, or not given types of questions. The last thing you need to focus on, and I really can't emphasize this enough, is to check your answers. You're given 1 hour to read 3 passages and answer a total of 40 questions. That doesn't mean you get to spend 20 minutes per text just reading it. You need to read it, answer the questions, and allocate enough time to check your answers. One thing to look out for is the distractors in the questions, because they'll most likely be mentioned somewhere in the article. In case you don't know what distractors are, they are answers that look like correct answers but are actually incorrect. Now we're gonna take a look at the writing test. Pay attention to the number of words required for each task. You will lose marks if you do not write at least 150 words for task 1 or at least 250 words for task 2. It's also not advisable to write a lot more than the required number of words because you'll not score more points if you write more words. What's more, by writing more, you create more opportunities to make mistakes. That being said, IELTS writing tests are very focused. That means that adding unnecessary information will be considered as a mistake. If your problem is that you often struggle to write even the minimum number of words, here's how some words and phrases are regarded by IELTS examiners. Contractions such as that's are considered to be one word, but if you turn it into that is, then it's viewed like two words. All the small words like articles and prepositions are considered as words and therefore are counted. Hyphenated words such as mother-in-law are considered as one word. Numbers, dates, time of the day are all counted as words in the writing part. The number 500,000 is one word. However, if you write it down as 500,000, that would be three words. 4th of June, that would be three words. 7 p.m., one word. Symbols, when written as a part of a word, are considered to be a part of that word. Therefore, 100% is one word. But if you write 100%, that would be considered as two words. Compound words are considered as one word. For example, firecracker. All of this is important to know if you're taking the paper-based writing test. If you're taking a computer-based one, you'll be able to see the exact number of words on the screen. You should spend approximately 20 minutes on task 1 and approximately 40 minutes on task 2. You must write your answers in full. Answers written in note form or in bullet points will lose marks. Pay attention to spelling, grammar, and punctuation. You will lose marks for mistakes. You may write your answers entirely in capitals if you wish. I personally do not agree with this rule because it's not in the spirit of correct English punctuation. However, it's IELTS' official stance on the matter. Once again, I don't make the rules. If you're taking a paper-based test, you may write your notes on the question paper, but nothing you write on the question paper will be marked. Always write an overview for academic writing part 1 and a conclusion for part 2. We'll talk more about that in my course. The last one we need to talk about is the speaking test. As you already know, the speaking test will be conducted in the form of a one-on-one in-person interview. There are many details about the form of the test and the most adequate answers, all of which will be covered in the course. Here I would like to go over some details that are not mentioned in books. The first thing I would like to point out is that IELTS examiners are highly trained individuals, and they can recognize if your speech has been rehearsed or memorized, so I don't recommend you trying to do something like that. Alongside that, don't use big, complicated words if you're not absolutely sure what their meaning, pronunciation, and usage are. The attempt to sound more knowledgeable can ultimately make you lose points. One thing that people often confuse is the difference between accent and pronunciation. It's perfectly fine to have an accent. The problem arises when you mispronounce a word. We can use the word honor, for example. It doesn't matter if you pronounce the word using an American accent, British accent, or French accent, as long as you don't say honor, because the H is silent. The next very important item to mention are the filler words. If you overuse words and phrases like, you know, that ruins the flow of your answer. On the day of the test, please sleep well the night before the test. You will need to be well rested in order to stay focused during the IELTS exam. Have a meal before the test because you will not have the chance to go anywhere between test parts. You're allowed to bring a small bottle of water with you as long as it's in a transparent bottle. You have to arrive early to your IELTS test center because they won't let you in if you're late. The most important thing that you need to bring with you is the form of identification that you use for your IELTS test registration. either your passport or your national ID. You'll need the same form of identification for your speaking test. In case you have any form of disability, that needs to be addressed. You have to speak to the center beforehand. Follow the instructions, focus, don't even think about cheating, and don't continue writing after the invigilator tells you to stop, because even finishing the sentence can cause your whole test to be invalidated. The last bit of information is about result validity, retaking the test, and remarking. Organizations that require you to pass the IELTS test will most likely not accept the test results that are more than 2 years old. Regarding retaking the test, there are no limits regarding to the number of times you would like to take the test. If you believe that the band score that you got doesn't reflect your actual score, you can apply for a remark at the center where you took the test, no later than 6 weeks after the test date. You can challenge any of the 4 test components. However, there is a fee for this service. The good thing is that there will be a refund if your score is increased. It usually takes between 3 and 21 days of applying to remark the whole test. Okay guys, we're gonna park it here. I'm aware that this was a long video, but I hope you got some useful information out of it. Of course, I would also like to remind you guys to subscribe to Teacher Ivan YouTube channel, where IELTS related content is posted regularly, or support Teacher Ivan Patreon page, where you will get exclusive content as well as live group sessions with Teacher Ivan. See you guys, bye!